Chat open by any chance?
I'm having probably general.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're having some internet connectivity issues. Just give us 1 second. Hold on. Bear with us. We're in a conference room that it gives us very little access to Wi-Fi. Okay, cool. So you guys feel free to write into the chat. I'm having Diego help me with some translation, and I've told him to sort of interrupt me if I'm, not being clear or if something's, not translating well into Portuguese from, my English. So please feel free to ask your questions in Portuguese. Diego will help as best he can. And then if he has any, clarifying questions for me, he can ask those as well. So really the purpose of today's webinar is that we've gotten some feedback from Google, who is our client. So all of you who have been logging in and writing template ads, this really has been a project for Google, Google Express ads, and that's why they're template. They're meant to be used by multiple businesses in a certain category or in a certain industry. So they have seen a good portion of our ads, and they have given us feedback. And the feedback to me seems pretty straightforward. Diego, feel free to jump in if you think otherwise. But the feedback is pretty straightforward. The top rule that they've given us, which I've updated on the guidelines, is we really have to focus on using Brazilian Portuguese. Google's QA person has told us that using the European dialect or that style of Portuguese is, it's just too different from what the audience that they're going after in Brazil. So please stick to Brazilian Portuguese if you can. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, and so the other update you may already be aware of is that the platform is now insisting that you use as much character space as possible. We need you to use at least 20 characters in the headline and at least 60, I think, to 70 characters, 70 in the description. And this is something that Google's kind of come down on us about as far as leaving too many unused character spaces. They're really looking to make the ads a little bit longer and bigger and fuller. So you may have noticed this in the system, that it will not let you submit your ad unless you have reached a minimum number of characters. Any questions there? Okay, cool. All right, so cool. All right, so the other thing you may have noticed in the system is that you can't use superlatives anymore, especially the word best. It's still okay to use, sort of top or high performing or high quality. These are okay. Really, what Google was coming down on us about is using the word best in ad copy to say something is the best or a business is doing something the best way, we can't use best. So I've added best as a blocked word in the Boost platform. But I know that's, when we say avoid superlatives, it can be a little bit subjective. So if you have any questions about superlatives that you can use or can't use, you can always ask us. But the general rule is just try not to use a word that's guaranteeing or setting the business up for a guarantee of something. Yeah, don't overpromise. As Trisha's saying, if you are setting a business up, to say something in an ad that they can't fulfill, the business can't use the ad, and Google won't want to use it. Yeah, so there's a question about character space. Are we free to use questions on descriptions? Yes, so questions can be used in descriptions. As far as I know, I have gotten different feedback in different languages. Like, for instance, in the Spanish world, the Spanish QA person in Google did not like a question in headlines and things like that. But I haven't seen that feedback for Portuguese specifically. So as far as I know, you can put questions in a description. I would not put a question twice in an ad. Don't put a question in a headline and then put another question again in a description. This just looks a little bit funny. And Google also is kind of weird about characters, special characters like question marks and exclamation points. And they might think like, oh, they're just trying to be a little bit more eye-catchy with putting too many questions in. So to answer your question, yes, but I would use them sparingly. Okay, and I can see some people are asking questions in Portuguese, so I'll let Diego take care of those as I move to call to action best practices. So call to action best practices, this is something that was a huge piece of feedback that Google gave us. And it's actually something that I'm trying to work into the platform so writers don't accidentally use it again. So buy now is something that I think is kind of, maybe more of an English American kind of call to action where you can say something buy now, and it sounds a little bit demanding. They didn't seem to really like that call to action of being kind of aggressive. And then they also wanted writers to use full statements instead of just like visit us with the hyphen. We need to just spell it all out. This was a huge piece of feedback. So the lead writers will be looking for this in the batches to come. And I had another question yesterday about like wardrobe and whether or not, the Portuguese translation of, wardrobe is appropriate because it has a hyphen. That's fine. It's fine to do it if it's a proper word, but it seemed like with the call to action phrases, they wanted us to do the full statement. And Diego, help me out if I'm not explaining that well. And you guys should have all gotten the feedback too in the Excel sheets. I sent it out to all the writers. But I'll pause there and let Diego answer any questions, or I can help answer any questions as well. And it looks like there is a question about rejected ads. Just to clarify, the lead writers do a really good job of do change requests. If it's a rejection, it's really only because it's a big violation of the guidelines that are listed in front of you here, or it's poor grammar and phrasing that can't be easily corrected, or the lead writers have seen the same error come through consistently from a particular writer, and so there's only so much time they can dedicate to change requests. So don't worry too much about rejections or rejection rates at this stage of the game. The lead writers and we kind of assess each individual writer on performance and whether or not, they're getting the rules, they're understanding the rules. Nobody is just a number, a percentage. You are a person, you're a writer. We assess your work individually. So it can, your account can be temporarily suspended if you have too many rejection reasons, but we try to work with you as best we can to get you up to speed, especially if you're a new writer. And if you're a new writer, we understand that you're still learning the rules. And the template project is probably a very unique project from anything that you're used to. So please don't fret or get worried about your rejection rate or your rejection reasons. Contact me directly, contact support to get Trisha and myself. And if you're worried about something or an ad that you wrote, let us know and we can help you. Okay, so Diego, let's see, have I missed anything? Okay, so is it okay to use location as one of the paths? Yes, it is okay to use location in the path. However, don't do it all the time. Google has asked us, to kind of give them a variety of ads. So if you're just copying and pasting location into all of the location and name templates, they're going to notice. So try to, use it if it makes sense for your ad to put it in the path. And the location is 15 characters. So it can only really be used in the path for the template labeled name plus location. For location only templates, the character space that the bracketed location uses is actually 20 characters. So you wouldn't be able to use it in a path. Okay. So I should probably take out this last note of proper punctuation in as far as the hyphens go. The hyphens really are meant to be as that call to action that I had brought up before. But if it's makes sense to use the proper punctuation, the proper word contains a hyphen, then use it. But I think what the key that Google is trying to get after with punctuation is don't overdo it. Really, what we need is an ad that's just kind of straight to the point. It's generic, but it's related to the category. It's not too superlative-y and making false claims, or trying to promote something that the advertiser couldn't live up to. And that includes like just too much punctuation. Google doesn't like an ad where it's got a million exclamation points and questions and semicolons and ... ellipses and all that stuff. I mean, that just draws attention to the ad and makes it look kind of gimmicky. So as long as you're just using, straightforward punctuation, a question mark, an exclamation mark at the end of a call to action, a comma, a period, you'll be fine. Also, you can write ads and end them just in periods. You don't always have to use an exclamation point. I mean, it makes sense to use it if it's a call to action like call now, or like come talk to us, or shop with us. That's fine. But some of the categories are a little bit more serious. There's some all-oncology or cancer categories. There's some addiction recovery, addiction treatment category. Not always join us. It's okay. You're right. Just keep it simple. Keep it grammatically base. So some of the keywords that got captured are keywords that are too specific. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear us? Hello? Okay.
What if he stopped?
I'll stop and start again. Yep. Can you guys hear us now? Okay. Great. Let me know if you can hear me. Just putting it. Okay. Whew. That would have been a bad time to cut out. So sorry. I know you guys have a lot of questions. I'll try and get back to them. So the keyword question is, if the keywords are too specific, if it names a certain location, or if it's a certain brand name, don't use it. Also, if the keyword is really just unrelated to the category, don't use it. We really want to utilize the keywords that make sense to the category. So for example, if you have a category that's chocolate shop and the keywords are all related to chocolate, but then there's one keyword that says all related to chocolate, chocolate gift. Or, you know, caramels or something like that. Oh, are you kidding? Oh, you guys still, can you? Oh, no. I don't know what to do.
You gotta go to your desk.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's go to the couches. Just over here. Okay, let us know if you guys can hear us now. We changed rooms. Hello? Are we back with you? Okay. Hopefully this room will be easier. Okay. So I hope everybody got my answer about keywords. If not, just let me know. Because I know we had a bunch of other questions. First question I'll answer is about payments. There's a current delay or a bug in the payment system that we're trying to resolve. So they're delayed right now, but they will be going out, I promise you, next week. So sorry about that, but we're working past it, and we're just trying to get the system to cooperate with us and make it move faster. It's just a delay for certain accounts that holds up the whole thing. And then the other questions I think we had, were, I think, about, the keywords, which I think I covered, and the punctuation. But does anybody have any questions about the punctuation, the keywords, or the call to actions, the three things that we've covered so far? Any questions? Or Diego, did I miss anything? Oh, that's a great question. So what about the use of foreign words such as online, top, gourmet, glamour? If it makes sense to use for the particular category, it is okay. You know, I haven't seen any feedback regarding that, and I know sometimes it does make sense to use English words like online. So I would probably ask Diego to answer that question as the Portuguese lead, but I have seen that come through, and I think Google has been okay with it. Options that I have missed while we were having internet issues. All right. Well, you guys seem to have a good understanding of the updates to the guidelines. Just to recap, you know, Brazilian Portuguese only. And please make sure that your call to actions are spelled out properly. One other thing I will mention is the description lines. So for the description lines, the other piece of feedback they gave us is to, really do complete phrasing. So engineers, they'd prefer you to say something along the lines of, we will help you, be approved for the civil engineer examination, instead of just, we'll help you be approved for the examination. So be really specific as far as sort of spelling out, what you're writing about, or what you're saying is going to happen. So if it's like a civil engineer exam, say civil engineer exam. Yeah, and so Diego, there is a question about CTAs, no more. I'll let you take that one. So, I mean, I hope I'm answering this correctly, but yeah, basically with the CTAs, oh, I see. Yeah. The CTAs, yeah, sometimes I know that they can get long, but just make sure to like in this example, to have it all out. It's okay if it takes up a lot of character space. Really, they're just looking for the full statement. Yeah, and I would do, if you guys want examples of call to actions that Google did accept, is to go through the batches that I sent you that were in Excel files, and I can resend them out again, but see what call to actions were approved, and compare those against that got feedback, and just kind of take those and use them as sort of an inventory of call to actions that have been approved and that can get used again. And I can also send you guys a deck that has the keyword examples too, of when it's okay to use certain keywords and when it's not. But I think you guys have been generally pretty good about this. I think the writers, you guys mostly understand that, if a word is like, chocolate shop, San Francisco, don't put San Francisco in the ad copy. Or if it's the name of a particular coffee or chocolate shop, if it's Devon's chocolate shop, don't use Devon. And really just use the keywords as a guide as to what the category is about. You'll also notice that some categories are really broad. Like, for instance, we have one that's just health. And so this is where the keywords could help guide us if the category is just really not specific, it's too broad. And always feel free to take a screenshot or just email support with a category that you're not understanding, or if you're unsure whether to not use to use the keywords or not. Yeah, send it by email. Send to support@boostmedia.com. Okay, yeah, Diego, that would be great. So Diego will update the rules in the guidelines as to what call to actions not to use, with the hyphens. And we can always just blacklist these into the system as well. So you guys will get a flag in the system if a certain call to action is not supposed to be used. But I'll also send out the approved ads from Google, so you guys have a reference as to what call to actions and what ads did get approved overall, and those will be very helpful. Any other questions for us, or did I miss anything while Trish and I were having internet issues? All right, so if you guys do have further questions, or if you need me or Diego to clarify anything on the guidelines, please, send us an email, support@boostmedia.com. We can help clarify it for you. I hope this webinar was helpful despite our internet issues. But please let us know if you have any questions. We'll keep the chat open for a couple of minutes. Yep, use the approved ads as a guide. And I will send over the approved ads, and I can actually log in really quick and pull them up as well. Let's see. And let me just change my screen. Okay, and this is what I was talking about. I can send you guys the list of ads again, but let's see if I can zoom in too. Okay, so I think my screen is just being slow, but here is an example of some of the ads that were approved and some that were given medium and poor ratings. So I'll send you guys this list, but the one I have highlighted right now, I'm just zooming in on, is that call to action, that we were talking about. They kind of want the simpler version here, and they kind of want specific descriptions, as I was saying, and here they've called out some instances where it doesn't look like it's Brazilian Portuguese, and they'll give us mark us with bad ratings for that. So just keep this in mind when you're going through. And then what you can do when I send you the list is you can filter for all of the ads that got marked as good and use these call to actions as maybe more of a reference, and see if you can use those in the ads going forward. We have 15,000 ads that we need to complete. I think we only have about 4,000 completed at the moment, and some need to go back through and need edits like these ones here. So there's a lot more work to do. There's a lot more work for writers, and more opportunity to earn. The goal is to have this project completed by the end of the quarter. So if we can get everybody, you know, going in there and getting writing, that would be great. And Patricia and I still will be calculating the bonuses every month. So if you're writing, you know, over 200 ads, we'll give you a 20% bonus on the amount that you achieved, the total number of ads that you were able to write and they were approved. And I think we calculated the bonus last month, and somebody made well over $500 just in bonus money. So it is achievable. You know, there's plenty of work for everybody. There's plenty of time to earn. We just need to listen to Google's feedback and adhere to them as best we can. All right, so I'll send this out to you guys. I'll send it out to all the Portuguese writers, so you guys have an example of what got marked as good, what got marked as medium and bad. And then I will send out some good keyword examples for cases that I've seen in the past. And then please, again, let us know if you are hesitating or have any questions. You know, I'm happy to help explain the guidelines, and I can always ask Diego to help me with the translation as well. But you guys have been great. I apologize again for the connectivity issues that we're experiencing in our room. But I'm always here as a resource for you, and so is Trish. So, you know, we're happy to help clarify and make your lives easier. All right, we'll leave the chat open for a couple of minutes if you guys have any follow-up questions, but you will be hearing from me shortly. Okay, and thanks to Diego for helping out with the translation.